Today we're talking about, well, it's called technically dual agency, but it would be the seller and the buyer being represented by the same agent. So first off, the first question people always ask, is that legal? It is actually legal in the state of Oregon. So yes, it is legal. And is that possible? And my answer to you is sometimes. It depends. It depends on the complexity of the property that's being sold. It depends on the how far apart the buyer and seller are. If they're mostly agreed on terms, then it makes it a little bit easier to come to an understanding. If they're really far apart, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But yes, the same agent can represent both the buyer and the seller, and they are obligated to help facilitate the sale, but they can't share confidential information. So let me just give you a for instance. If I knew that the seller was going through a divorce and they absolutely had to get this house sold and that they were super motivated and the buyer could probably ask for anything they wanted, that's not information you could share. But if I happen to get that information out of the seller's agent in the course of conversation, then that's definitely something I could share with the buyer if I was only representing the buyer. So you can see how this gets a little sticky wicket depending on how things are going. So, if both people are equally motivated and the property is not super complex, it's not like an estate that hasn't been sold in 30 years and has a bunch of things wrong with it. It might be, say, a condo in the Pearl. It's relatively simple. No deferred maintenance, no big things to negotiate, no huge defects in the property, then I think it's perfectly reasonable. But it's a hard line. You can imagine it's a hard line to walk. And it's one that a lot of agents do a lot of the time. I don't do it as often for that exact reason, because I do think it is a hard line to walk. As always, I love the questions you guys keep bringing me, so feel free to comment below or just reach out to me. I'm happy to hear anything you were wondering about. And we'll see you next week on this Dear Claire series. And of course, if you can't get enough of us, we have a YouTube channel that you can go check out, Paris Group Realty, LLC on YouTube. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll talk soon.